Premier League, today's fixtures. La Liga, today's fixtures. Bundesliga, today's fixtures. Serie A, today's fixtures. And Ligue 1, today's fixtures. Today is Sunday. I am going to break down all the league games that are going to be played today. And if this is the first time you are coming across my YouTube channel, I will appreciate if you can hit a thumb up to this video, you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and watch your video carefully till the end, because there are many things that I'm going to break down in this video, even my match predictions and what I'm expecting from the various clubs that are going to be played today. Right, let us jump into the games. Now we are going to take a look at the English Premier League. 3 English Premier League games are going to be played today. 5 games played yesterday, and there was 1 game that was played on Friday, which was the game of Chelsea against West Ham. And many games were played yesterday. 5 were played yesterday, so 6 Premier League games of match week 2 have already taken place, and 3 are going to take place today, making a total of 9 games for this weekend, and the other one is going to continue tomorrow, Monday. The first game of today, Sunday, is that of Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest. Now this is Premier League match week 2, and it is from this level that you see clubs that are fighting for points, because any point you get here is very important. Any point you get here is very important, because at the end of the season it is not going to be that easy. When you take a look at this game between Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest, match week 2, right, the first game of Crystal Palace, they played against Chelsea, where the game was goalless. The game ended 0-0. So in this game, Crystal Palace will be fighting to see if they can get their first win of the season. They are going to be playing the game at home in front of their fans, right? And when you take a look at the game of Nottingham Forest played their first game against West Ham and won that game 3-0. So Nottingham Forest are already having 3 points before this Crystal Palace game, and it is a game must win for West Ham and a game must win for Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is going to be playing this game without their best player, Eberechi Eze, who was announced yesterday as an Arsenal player. Like, he was presented yesterday as an Arsenal player. So Eberechi Eze is no longer a Crystal Palace player, and Crystal Palace is playing this game against Nottingham Forest with just 2 days of rest. On Friday, Crystal Palace played a Conference League qualification game. You get the point? So they played a Conference League qualification game, and today, Sunday, they already have a Premier League game to play. So they have just had 48 hours of rest time, whereas Nottingham Forest have been resting for close to a week. So the game is going to be a difficult one for Crystal Palace, but withstanding, this is the English Premier League and anything is going to happen. And if we take a look at the second game of the day, it's going to be that of Everton against Brighton. Brighton played their first league game of the season against Fulham on that's Premier League match week 1, where the game ended 1-1, points were being shared. And Everton played their first league game of the season against Leeds United, where they suffered a defeat 1-0 to Leeds United. So this game between between Brighton and Everton is going to be an important game for both clubs, because Everton will be trying to see if they can get their first point of the season, and Brighton will be fighting for their first 3 points of the season. Everton is going to be playing this game at home in front of their fans, so there is a home advantage in this game. But anyways, the game is somehow balanced between these 2 clubs, because when you take a look at the recent games of Everton and the recent games of Brighton, you discover that they are almost the same. So the game is somehow balanced between these 2 clubs. And the final Premier League game of the day is that of Fulham against Manchester United, which is a game must win for Ruben Amorim and his boys. Remember, Ruben Amorim and Manchester United played their first league game of the season against Arsenal, where they suffered a defeat 1-0 to Arsenal. And this game is a game that Ruben Amorim needs to grab their first 3 points of the season. Though they are playing the game away from home, they will need to grab their first 3 points of the season. Like I said, Fulham played their first league game of the season against Brighton, and the game ended 1-1. So Fulham will also be fighting to get their first 3 points of the season in front of their fans, and Manchester United will also be fighting to get their first 3 points of the season against Fulham. Now in this game, we don't know if Benjamin Sesko is going to be a starter, but he played against Arsenal, and Ruben Amorim says that he is going to be introducing him gradually. So this game is also an important game, so we don't know if he is going to start or not, but let us just hope things go well in favor of Manchester United, because people are expecting a lot from Manchester United. Now my expectations for these Premier League games that are going to be played today are, when you take a look at the first game, Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest. Now Nottingham Forest also lost one of their most important players, Anthony Elanga, to Newcastle. And Crystal Palace also lost one of the most important player, Eberechi Eze, to Arsenal. So it is going to be a balanced game. But in this game, I am expecting to see Crystal Palace play a good game, and I am expecting to see Crystal Palace win this game because they are playing at home and there is a home advantage. So I'll give Crystal Palace a win against Nottingham Forest. But at the same time, I am also expecting to see the two clubs score, like they're both teams to score in this game. Now the game of Everton against Brighton. Everton, I'm expecting to see Everton start the game with Jack Grealish, so he can be the face of this team. So Jack Grealish is now an Everton player. He is going to be with them till the end of the season. So I'm expecting to see Jack Grealish start the game for Everton against Brighton. But at the end of the day, I am expecting a victory from Brighton. So if I'm to predict this game, I'm giving Brighton a win over Everton. And the final game of the day is that of Fulham against Manchester United. It is going to be a difficult game, but I am expecting to see a good Manchester United team against Fulham, a team similar to the team that played against Arsenal. But I am also expecting to see Manchester United win the game. So these three games, I want to see Crystal Palace win the game against Nottingham Forest. I want to see Brighton win the game against Everton, and I want to see Manchester United win the game against Fulham. Guys, let me also know your own Premier League predictions for these three games down in the comment section. Now let us take a look at La Liga games that are going to be played today, right? 4 La Liga games are going to be played today. Atletico de Madrid against Elche played yesterday, where Atletico de Madrid still draw points because the game ended 1-1. Barcelona played against Levante, where the game ended 3-2 in favor of Barcelona. So Barcelona is at the top of the table with 6 points. Now when we take a look at the games that are going to be played today, you discover that 4 La Liga games are going to be played today, and the first game of the day is that of Osasuna against Valencia. Remember, Osasuna played their first league game of the season against Real Madrid, where they suffered a defeat. So this game, they are going to be playing a game at home in front of their fans, and they will try to see if they can get their first 3 points of the season. The second game of the day is that of Real Sociedad against Espanyol. These two clubs are all having 3 points because Espanyol played their first league game of the season against Atletico de Madrid in front of their own fans, and they end up winning the game 2-1. So in this game is also going to be an important game for both clubs because they all want to see if they can grab the 3 points and continue the title race, right? And the third game of the day is that of Villarreal against Girona. Remember, on March day 1, Girona played the first league game of the season against Rayo Vallecano, where they lost the game to Rayo Vallecano. Villarreal played their first league game of the season against Real Oviedo and won the game 2-0. So this is going to be an important game for them. Now the final game of the day is that of Real Oviedo against Real Madrid, which is actually going to be the game of the day. It is the game where every football fan is actually looking up to. Barcelona fans are looking up to this game, and I know Barcelona fans want Real Madrid to drop points. Yes, Barcelona fans are craving and they are strict that Real Madrid should drop points in this game. So it is going to be an important game for both clubs. Now, when you take a look at this game in particular between Real Oviedo and Real Madrid, in the last 5 games, you discover that Real Madrid and Real Oviedo have come across themselves just 6 times. 6 good times. They have Real Madrid won Real Oviedo 3 good times. The last 6 times they met, they shared points 3 times, and Real Oviedo have not had a single victory against Real Madrid ever since the two clubs were created. Even the last time Real Madrid faced Real Oviedo was in 2012. And that was a friendly game. And the last official game that Real Madrid played against Real Oviedo was in 2002, which was actually a Copa del Rey game. So it is going to be a difficult game because after 13 years, they are going to come across themselves again. Now, what are my expectations for these 4 La Liga games that are going to be played tomorrow? I will go back to the game of Osasuna against Valencia. Valencia lost their best defender to Arsenal, Christian Mosquera, and so it is going to be a difficult game for them. And if Osasuna play the way they played against Real Madrid, then I am expecting to see a win from Osasuna in this game. So my expectation for this game is for Osasuna to win their game against Valencia. Real Sociedad against Espanyol. We all know Real Sociedad as a club that always compete in European competition, so I think they are going to win this game. I will give Real Sociedad a win over Espanyol. The game of Villarreal against Girona, right? My expectation for this game between Villarreal and Girona is for Villarreal to grab another win again. Remember, they have signed a world-class midfielder, Thomas Partey, who is going to play this game against Girona today. So I am expecting them to have a win against Girona. With the final game of the day is that of Real Oviedo against Real Madrid. I am expecting to see Real Madrid with a win. Not just a win, a good performance. Remember, we have not enjoyed Real Madrid for a long time now. They play first 45 minutes where the second 45 minutes they just manage. They manage first 45 minutes of a game, the second 45 minutes they change. So I'm expecting to see Real Madrid with a win in this game. I'm expecting to see Vinicius Junior score his first goal of the season. Maybe Arda Güler also score his first goal of the season. And maybe Xabi Alonso give Rodrigo some minutes, because that's a player that many of us want to see. So I'll give Real Madrid a win in this game. Now guys, give me your own predictions for this La Liga fixtures of today also, because 4 games are going to be played today. Well, we'll keep La Liga aside and take a look at Serie A, the Italian league. The Italian league started yesterday. Napoli played their first league game yesterday against Sassuolo, where they won the game 2-0. Kevin De Bruyne scored in that game. Scott McTominay scored in that game. AC Milan played their first league game against Cremonese. Luka Modric made his debut for AC Milan yesterday, and they still suffered a defeat. AS Roma played their game against Bologna and won the game. So now let us take a look at the games that are going to be played today. 4 Serie A games, that is the Italian league games, are going to be played today. The first game of the day is going to be Cagliari versus Fiorentina. It is going to be a difficult game for both clubs, because they have been out for close to 3 months without any official competition. So it is going to be a tough game. The second game of the day is going to be a game of Como against Lazio, which is also going to be another tough game, because these are 2 top clubs. This top club of Como is being coached by Fabregas, who also it against Barcelona, the Joan Gamper Trophy, right? So it is going to be a difficult game for both clubs. There is Atalanta against Pisa. This game is going to be somehow easy for Atalanta, but somehow difficult for Pisa, because Pisa is just a club that was promoted back to Serie A. So it is going to be their first test of the season. Now, the final game of the day is that of Hugo Tudor Juventus against Parma, which is going to be a difficult game. The reason why I'm saying it is going to be a difficult game is because Juventus at this point in time wants to win the league title. Parma at this point in time wants to qualify for European sport. That is their main project for this season. So it is going to be difficult. Now, what are my expectations for these 4 Serie A games that are going to be played today? I will go back to the first game, Cagliari against Fiorentina. Cagliari is playing this game at home. Fiorentina is a club that I've watched in recent years. So I believe they are going to win this game against Cagliari. So my expectations from this game is for Fiorentina to get a win over Cagliari. Even if it is not a win, at least a good performance against Cagliari. Now the game of Como against Lazio. Como is playing this game at home, and the main target for this season is to qualify for a European sport. Lazio have not really been good in recent years. So my expectations from this game is for Como to win this game against Lazio, to win their first league game of the season. And Atalanta versus Pisa, which is going to be the 3rd league game of the day. I am expecting Atalanta not to just play the game well, to play the game well and win the game against Pisa with not less than 3 goals. The game of Juventus against Parma is the final game. Is the final game of the day, and my expectations for this game between Juventus and Parma is for Juventus to score many goals and win the game. Remember, they are going to play the UEFA Champions League this season, so the journey starts now, and even the title race campaign starts now. Now that Napoli is already at the top of the table with 3 points, followed by AS Roma with 3 points, so Juventus will try to make in such a way that they can go and meet them up there. Also, guys, give me your own predictions for this Serie A games. Now, let's take a look at the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga started on Friday. That's Bayern Munich against Leipzig was actually the first game, which was the lone game that played on Friday. Yesterday, Bayer Leverkusen played. They lost all the 3 points yesterday against Hoffenheim. Borussia Dortmund also played yesterday and dropped points because the game ended 3-3. Now, Bundesliga, 2 games are going to be played today. The game of Mainz against Cologne and the game of Borussia Mönchengladbach against Hamburger. So these 2 games today, like I always say, the Bundesliga is a league where it is very, very difficult to predict, because many goals are always scored, chances are always created in games. Now, when you take a look at this game versus Mainz versus Cologne, what are my expectations from this game? Now, I'm expecting a balanced game between these 2 clubs. all of them are going to be top. Like all of them have been top even in their preseason games. So these are clubs that have been in the Bundesliga for some years now. None of these two clubs were promoted recently, so it is going to be a balanced game from the two clubs. And what I'm expecting from this game is to see many goals from the two sides. I'm expecting the two sides to score goals. Borussia Mönchengladbach against Hamburger. I'm expecting Borussia Mönchengladbach to win this game with at least 3-0, with at least 3 goals different. Let me not say 3-0. Borussia Mönchengladbach is a club that used to participate in European competition, but in the past 3 years we have not seen them in Europe, so they want to get a return back to European competition, and it is from now that things are going to start. So I'm expecting a win from them. And now the final league games of the day is that of Ligue 1, the French league. Now 5 French Ligue 1 games are going to be played today, Sunday. PSG played a game against Angers, won the game 1-0. The first league game of the season for PSG was actually against Nantes, where they won the game 1-0. The goal in that first game was scored by Vitinha. The second game of the season was scored by Fabien Ruiz. Ousmane Dembélé still to score, Desiré Doué still to score, Bakola still to score, Kvaratskhelia still to score. So when you take a look at this second week, this League 1 match week 2, you discover that it is now that the title race is about to start, because Marseille played yesterday and won their own game 5-2. Aubameyang scored 2 goals in that game. That is what I mean by the title race have officially begun. When you take a look at the 5 games that are going to be played today, Lorient is going to be playing against Reims. Remember, this Reims played their first league game of the season against Marseille, and one of their players were sent out during the first 45 minutes of the game, but at the end of the game they still won Marseille 1-0. So it is going to be a difficult game for both clubs. There is Le Havre against Lens, there is Strasbourg against Nantes, there's Toulouse against Brest, there is Lille against Monaco, which is actually the game of the day. Now, what are my expectations for these 5 League 1 games that are going to be played tomorrow? When I go back to the first game, Lorient against Nantes, it is going to be a difficult game, but what I'm expecting from this game is for Reims to win this game at the end of the day. Remember, Reims is a club that have always been competing in European competitions, but in recent years, these past 2 years, we have not really seen them. So they're trying to get a comeback to European competition. So I'm expecting them to get a win over Lorient. The second game of the day is that of Le Havre against Lens. This Lens is a club that participated in the UEFA Champions League 2022-2023 football season, if I am not mistaken. So I'm expecting to see Lens with a win in this game. Also, Strasbourg against Nantes, I'm expecting to see Strasbourg with a win against Nantes, because they have so many players. Some of their players are from Chelsea. Remember, Strasbourg and Chelsea are clubs owned by one group of people, so most of their players are from Chelsea. So I'm expecting to see a win from Strasbourg in this game. And the 4th game of the day is going to be that of Toulouse against Brest. In this game, it is going to be difficult. Last season, Brest participated in the UEFA Champions League. This season, there is no UEFA Champions League for them. So now they want to run the season in such a way that at the end of the season, they are going to participate in the UEFA Champions League. But when I take a look at the two clubs critically, I will be expecting Toulouse to have a better match, even with a win against Brest in this game. Now, the final game of the day is that of Lille against AS Monaco. My expectation for this game is for AS Monaco to win the game. Lille lost their best goalkeeper, Lucas Chevalier, to PSG. They lost their best player, Jonathan David, to Juventus. And Monaco on the other side is instead recruiting players. Paul Pogba made his return to football. He is in Ligue 1 with AS Monaco. And Ansu Fati is with AS Monaco and many other players. So my expectation for this game between Lille and Monaco is for Monaco to win the game with at least 3 goals difference. Guys, I've come to the end of this video, and if this is the first time you are coming across my YouTube channel, this is exactly how I'm like. If you have watched the video right up to this point, may you go and tell me what you think about the Premier League fixtures of today, Sunday, La Liga fixtures of today, Bundesliga fixtures of today, League 1 fixtures of today, and Serie A fixtures of today down in the comment section. And most importantly, I will appreciate if you can hit a thumb up to this video, you subscribe to my YouTube channel, at least you drop a comment down in the comment section to appreciate my effort, and most importantly, you share my video to 2 to 3 persons. I will be here day in, day out, tell you guys how the football season is going. So make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, and I have the same name all over, HT Football TV. Check me, guys. Let us enjoy the season together, and give me your own predictions for today's fixtures down in the comment section. See you until my next video.